I drove a tracked vehicle today. I drove a tracked vehicle, a vehicle with tracks instead of wheels. I drove a tracked vehicle today. And let me tell you something. It was everything I hoped it could be and more. If you are ever offered a chance to drive a vehicle with treads, tracks, and it's like a tank instead of wheels, you gotta do it. It's just so freaking cool. I was laughing. I was giggling like a schoolgirl. Oh man. I talk about that and a couple other things. Let's go do that. Salud, amigos. Let me tell you, got a text message on the group text for the entire company from the manager and the general manager. He says, Tex, do we know how to work on hydraulics? A couple of no's came through, and I'm like, yes, you know, because I do. And come to find out, working on hydraulics meant somebody brought in and it was the owner of the company's friend or something. I don't know how that worked. I don't care. They brought in well, here's a picture of it. You check this out. It's one of those Bobcats, but instead of wheels, it's got treads, and it's got a backhoe on it instead of a skip loader. I'd rather had the skip loader. I'd like to play with that, but the two outriggers, the landing gear that stabilize the whole platform while you're digging, right? One of the valves was just completely jammed up. It wouldn't move. And a lot of times when you have that happen, you've got hydraulic blow-by, and what's happened is you've got an equal amount of pressure on either side of the plunger. You've got a neutral position on those valves, you've got a neutral position, you've got an up position, and then you've got a down position, and there's like several ports that allow fluid to go through. I'm not going to go into it, who cares? Anyway, it wasn't any of that. The little mechanism where you pushing and pulling a lever back and forth, it's got a couple of pivot points that push that plunger up and down and that valve and make that cassette actuate inside of the valve body. That thing had corrosion on it. The boot that protects it was torn, and it had corrosion on it so bad you couldn't move it. That's all it was. I went ahead and I pulled the top off of it, and I pulled the cassette up enough that I could see the seals were good and everything was clean enough that it could be cleaned from the outside. I didn't have to get into it. I put it all back together, and then I cleaned it and got it going again. So I was stoked with that. But I got to drive the thing around and play with it, you know, once I learned how to do it. And it was cool. You sit down in it, and you turn a switch to the on position, not the start. The on position, not the start position, which is momentary. You turn to the on position, a little LED screen comes up, and then you punch in the security code to get the thing started, and then everything comes on, and the lights come on the other side. There's all up here, there's lights and stuff, and then over here there's a screen and lights and switches and shit. And you put it to the start position, the engine starts, it's back in the run position, and then you can do stuff. And we had to sit there and fiddle finger with it and figure it out, you know, how did it work. And I felt like Ridley jumping in that thing to fight the alien. That was awesome. And there's that was so cool. Oh, I tell you what, I haven't had that much fun at work in an awful long time. And I don't think that's going to happen again in an awful long time. Military veterans will tell you, never volunteer for anything, but I'll tell you what. I don't think I could have fixed that. That's why nobody will remember your name. Anyway, oh jeez, I just had too much fun today. I was so tired. I woke up just feeling broken and exhausted. I was tired when I woke up. I didn't sleep right. Oh God, it was horrible. What are you gonna do? Get up, roll through it anyways. What do they say? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's getting up scared, shaking in your boots, and rolling on with it anyway. Right? We're burning daylight. I think that's what John Wayne used to say. So anyway, in that vein, I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation here where I kind of say something for my dad's benefit. You guys are welcome to hang out and watch. You can skip on out. We're, 5-6 minutes in? You know, you skip on out if you want. If you want to hang and listen to this. It's kind of an open letter from a son to a father. And I think it's pertinent to the story I just told. My dad told me one time, he told me an awful lot of stuff, and a lot of it panned out. It was really good stuff. Some of it didn't. You know, we all have our thing, right? But most of it did. Most of it. I learned some things not to do watching my dad. I think we all do. I'm sure the boys have learned some things not to do watching me. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm very sure of that. But one time Dad told me, he says, and I'm talking to you, Dad, so if you ever watch this, I'm not going to put it in your inbox or anything like that, but you know, if you're watching the channel and you watch it, I'm kind of talking to you. Dad told me, if they ever ask you, can you do this or can you do that or can you do this thing, tell them, hell, that's all I ever did before I came here. And I laughed and he laughed, and I kind of, you know, I don't like fibbing about shit. You know, if I don't have to tell you a falsehood, I would prefer not to. I don't mind a little bit of exaggeration and storytelling, so long as nothing is being gained by it. It doesn't bother me a bit. To me, lying, I guess you could call that lying. It's not exactly representing the truth 100% accurately. But if you're not 100% accurate in your storytelling and it's a good story and that story isn't gaining you anything really, you know, I don't have a problem with that. You know, embellish a little bit, make it exciting. It's a story. You're telling a story. It's like watching a movie. Right? I don't have a problem with that. And maybe that's the wrong way to take it, but that's the way I see it. So anyway, I'm not real big on telling people, well, hell, that's all I ever did before I came here, because if it's not true, it's not true, right? But Dad was like, I'm serious. You know, tell him that, you'll get a chance to do it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And as time goes on, I've seen, you're absolutely right about that, Dad. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You know, there's always forgiveness, especially if you're a forgiving individual. If you are a hardline SOB and you never let anything slide, guess what's going to happen when you screw up? Everybody around you is going to take joy in holding your feet to the fire. So, you know, forgiven as you forgive, right? Anyway, Dad said, you just say that, you know. And he was kind of semi-serious. He was kind of serious, you know. And I'm like, no, I can never do that. So I was at a job site the other day, and I've only met this guy like twice. He's like one of the bigger managers. He's not a lower supervisor or anything like that. He's not like a worker like me. He's like a middle to upper manager, and we're looking at all this stuff, and they're starting to get a feel for, yeah, I said I would do this, I can do it. You know, it's all I ever did before I came here. They're starting to get a feel for it. They've been shafted by so many companies that they're really hesitant. They're really, you know, and we took a whole lot of machines out, and you know, the company before us, they took a whole lot of machines out. 6-8 months later, they brought them back. We can't fix these. They can't be. Their thing wasn't we can't fix them, it was they can't be fixed. Okay, that's a whole different story. You need new machines. No. A lot of those machines that they said can't be fixed were still sitting there with the original tags that those machines went out with to that company. Our salesman and our manager worked together, and they got this account, and this is our big chance, right? So I'm bringing all these machines back to the shop, and I've got, you know, like 3 or 4 machines in my truck. I've got 6 smaller machines in the salesman's truck. We're bringing all this stuff back like a dozen things, and you can see the doubt, you can see the hesitation in their face, and they're kind of like, we've seen this before. How's it going to go? Right? So we took them back, and within, you know, a week or two, we got them quotes for everything, and they approved almost all of it, and I went ahead and repaired almost all of it. You know, some of it I've never seen before. I don't know what that does. But I went ahead and fixed it, you know, got it running again, and then we took it back, and they signed the ticket, and a couple of things they still had problems with, and, you know, that's the learning curve. But as you forgive, you'll be forgiven, and they kind of like, well, let's try to get this right. And then they're like, well, you know, when you bring it back, so and so needs to look it over before you. Oh, yeah, no problem. I understand that. That's fair. And we did, and we got rolling, and we got everything going, and everything's working, you know. And I think it was a second or third visit, and they're like, well, they looked over in the corner, and there's a whole bunch of little machines they're just. I'm kind of being nondescript and unspecific here on purpose. But the manager, this guy, and I kind of admire the guy. I like the guy. I think he's a pretty good guy. I really do. He seems like a good dude. I really think that. Anyway, not just because he's a customer, but I've said not enough that I could be rude about it if I wanted to. But he's looking over, and there's like 20 or 30 of these smaller things over in the corner. And it's not really on anything that we've said we would do. It's got nothing. It's got something to do with what we do. It's got nothing to do with what we do. And he says, "Say, John, what about these over here? You ever work on these?" And I literally said, and I quote, "Shit, man." I said his name though. I said, "Shit, man, that's all I ever did before I came here." I don't know what possessed me in that moment. I said it, and he busted up laughing. And he's like, "Let's load up about half of this, and let's see what you can do with it." There's a whole bunch more work we got right there. You know? There's a whole bunch more work we got right there. And you know what? If you can deliver. So anyway, took all those back and come back. 3/4 of them were fixable. The rest of them were like so expensive to fix. Hey, you know, buy some new ones. These are, you guys beat these down. Matter of fact, I want to steal parts from them to help cheapen the repairs on these other ones. Oh yeah, do that. So we brought them back. That's good. And now we're rolling those machines in and out too. It's a little thing, but there's a lot of them. A little bit of something is a lot of something. So doing that for them too. Anyway, I'm over there. We're on a routine service now. They're happy so far. I'm pleased. I like dealing with them. They're good people. They're really good people. And like I said, I haven't said enough about them that I'm kissing butt here. They're good folks. I like dealing with them. So anyway, you go over there, and I'm working on one of the machines, and I'm doing my monthly thing that I do. And I hear crash, bang, boom, and I turn around and look, and this gal's got this machine, and she caught, there's big wheels in the back and there's little caster wheels in the front, and she caught it in the chunk of the concrete, and it flipped over. I'm like, oh! And I went over and I helped her pick it up, and I said, "It's all right, you know, don't worry about it. You still do your thing. It's good." She's like, "Oh, thanks for helping me." No problem. You're good. I went back to what I was doing, and she went over there, and apparently she had a problem with it. And I finished my machine that I was working on, and I'm wheeling it back inside, you know, because I've got this all out by my service truck, outside with the tools and the paperwork and everything I'm doing. So I walk in, and she's standing there with her supervisor and this manager that, you know, oh, that's all I ever did before I came here, man. They're both standing there listening to her tell her problem, what she found with this machine after knocking it over and everything. It's not working right. Something's wrong with it, right? And she's like, I'm sorry. And they're like, okay. And the supervisor, who doesn't have any clue about this other conversation, the supervisor goes, oh no, what are we going to have to find somebody that can fix it? And she looks up, and I'm wheeling the other machine, and it's got nothing to do with this. And she's like, well, maybe you can fix it. Turns to the manager, and she says, do you think he can fix it? And he's looking at her, and then he looks at me, and he just gets this smile. And I smiled. And he goes, yeah, John can fix it. Yeah, John can fix it. And I'm like, give me 15 minutes and a YouTube video or two, I'll be an expert. We'll get it working. She's like that. And then he started really laughing. He's like, okay, you know, I'm kind of joking about that. I'm kind of not, you know, there's so much good stuff on YouTube now. But anyway, the thing is, I can go online and I can download the exploded parts diagrams for all those, and I know the basics of the electrical and the hydraulics and the pneumatics and the mechanical structure of the things. I can almost, I'm going to say 75-80% of the time, I can just download the parts manual and look at the exploded parts diagrams and go, I got it. You know? So yeah, that was good. Yeah, I got the thing running, and I told her, what, okay, well, this was the problem you actually had, this is what really happened, and this is why it happened. And the girl's like, well, you know, like, no, I'm telling you, I know why. She's like, but I don't understand why it happened. I said, I'll explain it to you. She's like, what? And I explained it to her, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal, you're fine. I said, but I found this other problem while I was checking it out, and I'm gonna order that part for you. And she's like, okay. So now I have those parts sitting on my workbench. Next time I go up there, the reason I ordered two of them, the one machine I looked at had that problem. They said they have another machine that's doing the same thing. I got you, we'll take care of it. So I used to work on factory style conveyor systems that used hydraulics and pneumatics to move big heavy objects, thousands of them a day. So, you know, you troubleshoot enough of that stuff. Hydraulics, I've rebuilt hydraulic valve banks, I've rebuilt hydraulic motors and stators and pumps. We do pumps as pressure washers all the time. So, you know, pressure washer is just an open-ended hydraulic system. Most of the systems that you'll deal with on a manufacturing level or on forklifts, stuff like that, they're closed loop. So you have to capture everything at the discharge and put it back in the reservoir. That's simple. That's so simple. That's just like whatever. Just put a pipe on the end of it and send it back. No pressure, you know? So, yeah, and they're like, whoa, do any of us know how to work on hydraulics? Yeah, actually, all of us know how. We just don't know that we know how. So, sometimes, kids, your dad's going to say weird shit like, that's all I ever did before I came here. And you're going to think that is the craziest thing. But you need to think about it longer and harder than that, because a lot of times that your dad's done something or been somewhere or seen something or been there. It's one of those things. You just don't have a point of reference, I guess. You just don't have a point of reference, but they're actually speaking the truth to you. And sometimes dads are just full of crap. I'm guilty. It's happened. I thought I was right. Anyway, well, I'll shut this down, wrap it up, get out of here. The next video, my mate in Bristol, Paul, showed me that Wendy's has the new bacon cheese pub burger with the pretzel bun thing. I like, holy cow. And he's like, you gonna do that? I'm like, you know what, I'll make a video just for you. And I got to thinking about it. You look at the analytics, and a lot of you guys aren't from here, and I get a lot of comments about hey, thanks for showing us your area. And I like that too. That's something I like when I'm watching your videos, like Toll Free Traveler and guys like that. And a couple of you that have commented, you know, you're like me, you only got a few subscribers, and you're you know, you're just kind of showing your corner of the world, and that's my favorite YouTube videos, are those. So the next video, I'm gonna go get one of those pub burgers. I'll tell you how it is as I'm going through the burger, and you get to kind of see the American drive-through fast food experience. I'm sure there's 1,000 other videos like that, but why not just kind of give you my take on it, and we'll talk about that more then. That'll be the next video. In the spirit of good food, I'll do a light dad's recipe right now. I'm going to tell you something really good. At least I think so. Toasters are cool. You put a couple slices of bread in there, you push the button down, the thing goes down and it closes in on them, and then heating elements radiate on the bread until it becomes toast, right? Toasters are cool. I'm not a fan. I don't like toasters. I like a toaster oven. I like a toaster oven. My wife finally got on board with this after 20 years of being married. She got us a toaster oven, and we replaced our toaster failed, and she got a toaster oven instead of a toaster, and it is also a convection oven. If you're a bachelor in a studio apartment, a convection toaster oven is just about the bee's knees, man. If you learn how to use that and you put the time in, and you get where you can make, oh, good grief. Anyway, so here's a dad's recipe from a dad. You take you a nice slice of sourdough bread. The bigger the loaf, take the slice out of the middle, the better. It's so good. You stick it in the toaster oven, and by now you should have learned how to use that thing to make that toast golden. Not quite brown, almost kind of getting brown, but golden. You get that toast golden, and you open that thing up, whether it's done or not, and you set it for long and watch it. This is a watched pot. It is worth boiling, buddy. You get that thing out as it's golden, not quite brown, and you slather butter on that, like 2 times as much butter as you would think is right. And you put butter on that piece of sourdough toast, and you stick it back in the oven, and you let it keep going. And while it's going, this is as much time as you want to leave it in there, okay? Because you don't want to dry the butter out. You go and you get your peanut butter, you open the jar, you set it there where you're going to do your thing. Get a plate, whatever you need to do. Paper towel, however you want to do it. Throw a paper towel away. You get the peanut butter open, you get the butter knife, you clean it in the sink under hot water, get the butter off of it, go back immediately. Get that piece of toast out. It should be golden and browned by now. Just starting to brown. The butter should still be moist. And you get it, and you spread just enough peanut butter on there. Not a thick bunch of peanut butter, very thin. You spread that peanut butter on there so thin that the heat of the bread, the toast itself, melts it into a liquid. And then you eat that over the plate right now, like almost burning your tongue hot bread. Oh, that's That's just a little slice of peanut butter heaven right there. I did that when I got home like 3 times. Oh yeah, it was worth it. It's worth it every time. Anyway. Alright guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta go in here. I gotta get a shower. God, it was hot today. It was only like 93. So it wasn't that bad, but it's been humid. The skies are just brown and gray with haze. The forest fires going on here are terrible. Oh man. Yeah, I gotta go in, get cleaned up, get this into the laundry. The washer ought to be wrapping up with my clothes, and I gotta wash work clothes next. So get in there and get that done. Get cleaned up and get ready for bed, because I'll tell you, like I said, I slept wrong last night and I woke up exhausted, like tired from sleeping. It was like physical labor to sleep. It was just so wrong. Whew. Anyway, enjoy that peanut butter recipe. If they ever ask you, can you do this? Hell yeah, I can do that. That's all I ever did before I came here. Sounds ridiculous, but I'll tell you what.
Do you want to know?
Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, however it's going, I hope it's going good. You guys take care.
And I think I have to listen.
I'll catch up next.
The sun is up, it's a beautiful day. Maybe